So I get some version of this email pretty often where someone says, I don't have time to find and contact events. What do I do? I don't have time. I mean, I got a job. I've got this. I've got that. I do not have time to find and contact events. I want to speak. I want to get on more stages, but I just don't have time. I think in terms of what in the world are you doing with your time? It's literally like saying you're allergic to money. When you say, I don't have time to do the sales in my business, what you're literally saying is, I'm allergic to money. I'm allergic. I don't want business. You got to think. You have to spend time on the most important activities. I get it when you have a job. When you have a job, you're working, let's say 9 to 5. Well, what about from 6 to 8? What are you doing during that time? Oh, you're cooking. Oh, are you telling me it's taking you 2 hours to cook a meal? Come on now. And even if it does, I mean, 2 hours, what's wrong with you? Slap yourself. Start doing start getting some McDonald's. Start eating unhealthy. That's a great message to tell people. But really, when you think about it, in terms of spending your time, what are you spending your time on? If you're not spending your time on the most important activity, which is finding and contacting events, what are you doing? And a lot of people, they're sitting there, they do everything else except the most important thing. So they say, oh, let me get a new business card. Let me fix up my website, and let me do this. Actually, a website is kind of important. A little bit, but they're doing everything else except the most important thing, which is contacting people. That is the most important thing. What people are really saying when they say I don't have time to contact people, they're saying, oh, I just don't like doing it. It's just when I contact, I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like sitting there and sending out emails. That's what people are really saying. They're saying that they just don't feel like it. So they describe it as I don't have time to do it. And so you have to understand that this is very similar to, like, imagine a basketball player saying, you know what, coach, I just don't have time to practice and play the games. I just don't have time, coach. And so the coach is like, well, what are you doing with your time? So, well, I mean, I got to make sure that I go and drop the kids off. I got to make sure that I go to the mall every now. I got to make sure get my nails done and stuff. I got a lot of stuff to do, man. That's life. That's life. And so the coach is going to sit there and say, what the hell is wrong with you? And so I think the same thing. When people say I don't have time to find and contact events, I think, what are you doing? You have to understand the most important activities in your business, and then you have to only do those things when you don't have a lot of time. If you have a job, you can't waste your time on things like creating a new business card or whatever. You have to only focus on contacting events. That's the only thing you should be focused on. If you are building, let's say, your brand, and you're doing content marketing, well, the content isn't the thing that you should be spending your time on. The thing you should spend your time on is promoting. It should be Facebook ads, and that's what you're doing, or, well, any type of ads, YouTube ads, or whatever. You're just promoting. That's where your time should be spent. And so you have to sit down and you have to literally type out or write out, say, here's all the activities I need to do. Here's a to-do list. Then you sit down and think, well, what's the one thing that's going to allow me to produce all the money in the business? If I could only do this one or maybe two things, what is that thing? And so that's what you have to focus your time on. A lot of people, I'm just kind of reading here what I said. Yeah, but what you're really saying is not important for you to make time, find time, don't make time, you want to remove it. Yeah, right. So that's the other thing I put there. I said, you have to think in terms of what do you want to remove from your life? So I remember I wrote an email a while ago where I said something like, you have to give something up. So if you want something in your life, you have to give up something else. If you want to get on more stages, you want to sell products, you want to do whatever, you have to give something up in your life. So if you're sitting there, let's say you have a job, right? So you're at work from 8 to 5 or 9 to 6, whenever, right? You get home and you're like, I'm tired. I just don't feel like it, right? I got to cook. Then I got to relax and stuff. You got to give something up, whether it's the cooking. I mean, you don't give up cooking, but you give up the amount of time it takes to do the cooking. So maybe you make something really simple. You say, okay, normally I cook spaghetti and I do all this stuff. You say, you know what? Forget all that. I'm just going to take chicken and just throw it in the oven. And then during the however long it takes to make the chicken, during that time, I'm going to start contacting the events, right? And so you have to give something up, whether it's you watching TV all the time, movies all the time, whether it's you relaxing when you get back, whatever it is, you have to give something up. And it sounds great when people watch a video like this. You're like, oh yeah, give something up, give something up. Then all of a sudden, when it comes to real life, when they actually have to do it, they don't. So you have to understand that when people say, like, I don't have time to find and contact events, I just say it's just not important enough to you. I guarantee you, if someone kidnapped your kids, someone kidnapped your mom and dad and said, hey, you have to find and contact events, I guarantee you will figure out how to make time. So right now, you're just saying it's not important enough to you. So you just got to think, when you say that you don't have time, what exactly are you doing? You have to do the most important activities. Everything else is a waste of your time. So let me ask you something. Are you allergic to money or what?